Good morning, Guardians. Ebontis here with your Zerday information for November 4th. He is located in the reef in his one little right side cubbyhole over here. So let's take a look at what he's got on this Friday morning. First thing we've got is the Taikonaut Helm. The exotic perk here is air traffic control. All rocket launchers gain tracking, radar remains visible while zooming with heavy weapons, and heavy ammo drops more often. So not too shabby, especially if you're running with something where you don't have a great exotic choice. You want tracking on a rocket, maybe you don't have a perfect one for, say, a Nightfall with an arc burn or something like that. This can have some benefits, but it's definitely not a top tier exotic, so it's kind of up to you guys if you want to get this one. Heavy ammo dropping more often is nice, but if you can get something like the raid gauntlets, that's probably going to be more beneficial for the raid for sure. Outside of that, guys, definitely a reasonable exotic for the right situation, but definitely not a top tier as well. Got intellect and strength for your rolls this morning, ashes to assets, heavy lifting, which pairs well with all your rocket launchers that you're going to be using, and then innovation, kind of a toss-up on the stats here. So if you want to re-roll these, that's fine, but again, kind of a middle tier exotic for the Titans this morning. The second exotic we have this morning is the young Ahamkara spine. These are gauntlets for the hunter. And the exotic perk here is field trip. Increase trip mine grenade duration and gain an additional trip mine grenade as well. So these are great for mostly crowd control, closing off certain areas. If you want to definitely put a couple trip mines up, you'll definitely lock down a certain zone for a little while. So up to you guys if, again, you find these specifically useful. If you like trip mines, you want to use those. Having them last longer and then also getting an additional nice bonus to a playstyle for those solar hunters. But of course, if you prefer another exotic for a solar hunter, you got to give this one up. So your choice in how important you think those grenades are. For stats, we've got an intellect and a full discipline roll. Of course, if you're rolling for grenades, this is definitely a reasonable roll for that front. We've got increased grenade throw distance with fastball, impact induction, bonus grenade energy on melee hits. And you've got auto rifle and fusion rifle reloader. Not the best reloaders unless you're just rolling auto rifles, but again, these are kind of that middle tier exotic for you guys for the hunters. Nothing amazing. Unless you love trip mines, then definitely your day. So kind of up to you guys to decide. The third exotic we have this morning is for the Warlocks. This is the Ram, and your perk is Strength of the Ram. Increase armor. All Voidwalker melees trigger lifesteal on hit. So for you Voidwalkers, you can definitely get some lifesteal on all your melees, which is going to help you survive longer. Then you can also have more armor as well, which is a nice way to boost your stats, survive a little more, and take maybe one more of those shots in case you need that in a PvE setting. Not, again, the best helm, very specific use. If you're running around as a Voidwalker, as a Warlock, you're probably not going to run around and punch a whole bunch of stuff. If you're running around in PvP, you can, of course, trade melees and stuff. And as a Warlock, probably you're going to survive more than most people will. But, of course, the increased armor there is going to be a nice benefit as well. Overall, I wouldn't say this is going to keep you alive longer in the PvE world. But in PvP, this one can have its benefits. So if you don't have this one, it's probably a little higher than some of the other ones. I don't know if it's like the best exotic for Warlocks per se, but it's definitely maybe on the upper end of the middle. So not too shabby, but not exactly stellar as well. Got discipline and strength for our rolls this morning. Inverse shadow, that is always a nice one for PvE, for killing minions of the darkness, but of course, as this probably isn't your best PvE helm, I wouldn't worry too much about that one. You've also got second thoughts for special weapon kills from minions of the darkness, and finally infusion, replenish health each time you pick up an orb. So okay rolls on those stats this morning. Definitely probably go something like int discipline maybe. Definitely get something more for PvP related perks. And then strength of the Ram, it's an okay perk for that increased armor and lifesteal, but I still think there's probably some better ones. I mean, nothing manacles for those Voidwalkers are amazing, so there's probably better ones potentially. It's up to you guys if you want to try this one out. All of these are kind of preference. If you feel like there's something that you can get a use out of, that's up to you guys, but otherwise don't worry too much. But if you're going for collection purposes, these are all pretty reasonable today. Finally, the weapon, we've got Red Death. If you guys have been around for a while, you know this is a pretty early vanilla exotic that kind of came about. Had its heyday for a little while, got nerfed a little bit, and it's trying to find its way back into some decent rating. It's probably not exactly up to where it was at one point, but it's still, I think, doing okay at this point in time. Exotic perk that you've got is Red Death. Each kill heals you and speeds up reloads. I think it used to just kill, the kills would heal you, but now speeding up reloads, nice little benefit there as well. You've got Unflinching for a perk, which got a nice little boost. You've got Snapshot, high caliber rounds, and single point sling. With high caliber rounds, this thing hits pretty hard, and you can actually stagger people, so it's actually beneficial there as well. It's a pretty good pulse rifle. It's on the slower rate of fire, higher impact, So keep that in mind if that's what you're going for. If you don't have this one, it has its benefits for things like exposure. You can help build up your health a little bit quicker, especially by killing multiple enemies. You won't be quite so low on the health bar. So there are some perks to it, but of course not the best in the world. So it's up to you guys if you think this one's worth it. I think it's probably worth adding to your collection personally. It's kind of a fun gun to use. There's going to be some new ornaments coming out later as well. So keep that in mind if you're trying to make some things a little fancier. As for the ornaments this morning, we've got Shock Hazard for Zahalo Supercell, so that one looks pretty cool. And then we've got Queen's Command for Telesto, the bright purple Telesto. This is definitely one of the cooler, more unique, bright, bold ornaments that definitely you can tell. Some are a bit more subtle, so if you're running by, you won't see it. If you see a giant purple gun in somebody's hand, you're probably going to notice. So Telesto's one is pretty cool, definitely one of my favorites for just making a statement. As for the Engram this morning, we've got Legacy Engram and its body armor. So first, let me repeat, this is Legacy, this is year 1. So don't worry too much about picking these up, especially in the armor front. If there's not a year 3 version of it, I wouldn't worry too much about trying to pick this one up via a Legacy Engram. Finally, the good old basics. You've got Plasma Drive, Emerald Coil, your heavy ammo synths. Always make sure you keep those stocked up for whatever reason you need them for a Nightfall run, for the raid, whatever. Always make sure you got some on you. 3 of coins. Make sure you guys can keep farming those exotics. There's still good places to do that. Glass needles in case you actually do need to go ahead and switch up some of the stats on your armor. And then finally, the Terrible Mote of Light Exchange. But that pretty much wraps it up for me, guys, for November 4th. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Might be a little short and sweet. Had an odd sleep schedule this morning, so just trying to get this one out to you guys so you can make your judgment calls. Again, most of the armor is somewhat middle tier, somewhat specific on its uses. Rocket launchers, extra armor, trip mines, they have specific things they benefit. And of course, if you like those, they can have a lot of value, but if it's not your thing, then don't worry about it. Red Dust's still a pretty good one to pick up. So in general, as always, drop a like below. If you did enjoy the video, drop a comment. If you have any questions, want to see some changes, or if you just thought it was a good video, let me know. If you have any critiques or criticism, I'll take those as well. And just check out my main channel page, subscribe there, and I will keep the content coming your way. As always, guys, have a great one, enjoy the week, and I will talk to you guys soon.